After having a ton of fun making that Stephen Curry to Spurs/Celtics video, I decided to postpone the usual offseason videos that everybody makes and pivot to more specific and, I would say, out-of-the-box topics. Today I wanted to speak on not just Devin Booker, but the direction and near future of the Phoenix Suns. Recently, I've been seeing videos and discussion of how Devin Booker is being forgotten or that the Suns front office has been failing him, which led to me really looking at all the individual pieces and moves the Suns have made, and I came to a very clear conclusion. The Phoenix Suns roster has been perfectly molded around D-Book so he can play at a top 10 player in the league caliber, but he's simply just not that person for that job anymore. Not only do I think Booker isn't the best shooting guard in the league anymore, and that shouldn't be controversial if you look at who's in the league as of right now currently, but I just don't see Booker as this top 12 player in the league or this insane sniper that Phoenix and some fans view him as. Booker simply hasn't been shooting the ball well in general, not even just specifically from beyond the arc. Not only has he shot 34.1% from three over the past 3 seasons, but he shot 47.9, I would just say 48%, in that same time frame. I'm not saying this is the most inefficient all-star plus caliber player ever, and especially not in the league, but I'm trying to make this my first point to what separates Devin Booker from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, and Jalen Brunson. Speaking of those guys, they all have something about them that is undeniable or unique to their game. For Shai, it's the ability to perfectly create contact and finish through it. For Luka, it's his godlike ability to crumble any defensive scheme thrown at him with the step backs or his all-time passing ability. For Ant, it's his overall versatility, capable of applying insane pressure on the rim or sizing up before launching a 3-ball. For Brunson, it's his use of his frame, on top of the ability to amp up the voltage down the stretch. Then when you shift to thinking about Devin Booker, what exactly sticks out to you? It's not his athleticism, and that's easily his main obstacle when trying to get to the rim. He doesn't have the length of Shai, the core strength of Brunson, the pace of Luka, or the raw physicals of Ant. Is it his three-point shooting? No, we just saw his percentages earlier. Is it his handles? He's not a liability at creating space with his handle, but the 4 I've been using all video on top of plenty others have better handles. Is it his defense? No. He was pretty bought into the Suns' gritty identity last season, but he wasn't a lockdown defender or anything close to the term. Is it his playmaking? He's serviceable, but it's not like he's a master of stabbing through double teams. If anything, he's the polar opposite of someone who embraces doubles. So what exactly makes Devin Booker undeniable? The first thing that comes to mind is his difficult shot making, but almost all of his shots have an element of difficulty due to his lack of an elite handle or athleticism to burst past defenders. Even then, I'd say every single guard I've been using as examples on top of players like Stephen Curry, Jaylen Brown, and Donovan Mitchell can take and make harder shots than Devin Booker. The immediate argument to everything bad I've been saying about Devin Booker is that Phoenix have failed him ever since trading for Chris Paul, emptying out the young talent for other score-first guys like Kevin Durant and then Bradley Beal afterward. Well, if Phoenix supposedly emptied out the young core, then let's go ahead and look at the young core as of right now. Not only do they have the essential polar opposite of Devin Booker and Jalen Green as a hyper-athletic guard that can seemingly teleport to the rim and shoot threes, but they have the man who wields one of the largest standing reaches in the NBA currently while being freakishly mobile and Mark Williams. If you want to remove those 2 starting caliber role players due to the fact that they both turned 25 during the 26-27 regular season, that's fine. Even without those 2, they have one of the most respected pure lockdowns in the league in Ryan Dunn. Yeah, he gets the usual, he's a jumper away from being elite, but I think we just need to accept role players for who they are while the trainers still try to polish rough edges. I say this because even without that elite jump shot or even an average jump shot in terms of efficiency, Dunn is still elite in isolation against more finesse-heavy creators. I won't spend too much time individually on everybody else, but Iguodala was a great rebounder for the Suns last season, who has a bit of playmaking upside, which was good enough to get him minutes into postseason against OKC. Kobe Bryant went under the radar for the Suns when they picked him up, but he's an elite shooter I expect to get some extra minutes due to the departure the Suns went through this offseason. Then we get to one of my favorite wings/forwards in Rasheed Fleming, and I'm starting to realize I'm kind of a huge enjoyer for athletic wings with elite defensive upside. Speaking of elite defensive upside, Fleming has a really good frame to guard players in his position, and that frame allows him to scale up as a small ball 5, something that was generally expected of him in his rookie season. I guess I lied about not spending too much individual time on everyone else. But anyways, the Suns also trade up in the 2026 NBA draft and trade with the New York Knicks to select Koa Pete, a raw frame beast who's most likely going to be a longer-term prospect in terms of his offensive utility. Now, we arrive at, in my opinion, the figurehead of the Kevin Durant trade for the Phoenix Suns and a catalyst of the future of Phoenix basketball, Kamal Maluak. His standing reach and freakish rim is a what you see is what you get situation. Not only can he just stand in front of the rim and take away the entire painted area, he can even chase down the wings to collect blocks. Speaking of chasing, Maluak isn't just going to be dusted so easily, as he can actually keep himself in position against guards and wings to contain drives to the paint. Even when we look at Summer League, Maluak just looked way more direct, and he seemingly cut out all the fat and nonsense in his movements. And I'm speaking on both ends. His motions on the roll, activity on the boards, and raw physical dominance just looks way more effective. And having someone like that on a rookie contract for 3 more seasons is exactly why I coined him a blue chip prospect. So, I think it's clear that Phoenix doesn't have this inevitable young core, but even if you exclude Green and Mark, they have a young core full of wings and bigs who can excel to great heights if put into a winning situation with an elite catalyst who can set them up and alleviate pressure. I added that last part in to further my point. You know what that point is by now, so let's go ahead and debunk the other remarks. The front office has drafted solidly, but there have been negative opinions about the free agency moves and trade market additions Phoenix has executed. The 2 main departures are both going to Charlotte and Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, alongside a 2033 first-round pick, both being sent out to acquire Miles Bridges and a 2027 first-round pick. I've changed my opinion on this transaction once already, calling it atrocious, but once again I'll be changing my opinion. Grayson Allen just came off a down year in terms of health, efficiency, and overall production. Yes, he still shot the ball at high volume, but his efficiency took a huge dip as he now enters his age 31 season. Royce was one of Phoenix's best perimeter defenders, being good in both isolation and generating deflections, but he's now entering his age 33 season. Not only are both those guys older than Miles Bridges, but they're making $30+ million combined next season, while Bridges is on an expiring deal. With the reputation of Miles Bridges, I assume Phoenix is banking on getting him on a team-friendly deal, roughly around $15 million to $19 million, which is $11 million less than Grayson Allen and Royce combined next season. Yes, they're now acquiring an interesting character in Bridges whose fit alongside Brooks may be a bit clunky at times with the spacing, but if Phoenix is still a hustle-heavy team as they were last season, I can maybe see Bridges buying in just like Booker did last season. Would I bet on it? No, not that I bet on anything in the first place. All I'm saying is that the Bridges trade isn't this disaster once you really just cool your tits for a week or two. Even if you want to talk about the 2033 first rounder from Phoenix now being gone on top of them not having their pick for majority of the decade, yes, that's 100% the worst thing about anything they've done this specific offseason. But even then, they have young pieces in Mark Williams and Kamal Maluak to hopefully recoup their draft assets or build towards their future. To further emphasize that the Suns trade isn't as bad as you think, they picked up Luke the Nuke Kennard to replace Grayson Allen's role on the team as a versatile 3-point shooter. Let me remind you guys, Kennard was dangerously close to shooting 50% from 3 last season, and even if it wasn't on high volume, it's still near 50%. Luke is also way cheaper than Grayson Allen next season, on top of Luke having more ball handling skills that allow him to play the point guard while Green or Booker plays the shooting guard. Now go back to the beginning of free agency for me and look at the first thing that the Phoenix Suns did this offseason post-draft. I don't know how they did it after he played impactful basketball last season, but they got Pat Spencer on a 2-way contract. Generally, I don't know how a team like Houston or Orlando didn't snatch him up, but they didn't, so Phoenix took him on instead. Pat did kind of wear off in terms of effectiveness as the year went on, but I remember him having some incredible games before Jimmy and Curry both went down. He's not going to slice through the defense or play much defense himself, but what he will do is shoot the ball at an insane clip while poking at the right openings when he has the ball at the point guard position. Speaking of the point guard position and elaborating on that position, I want to pivot to the returning pieces from last season, beginning with Colin Gillespie, who they got on a steal of a deal at the beginning of the offseason. Gillespie isn't this Chris Paul of a playmaker who's going to get the 120% out of Devin Booker on every single play, but he's someone who knows when to hang on to the ball to let plays develop and wants to make the simple read to force defensive rotation. Even if Gillespie wasn't the most flashy, memorable starting guard last season, he was still impactful on both ends, as he is always going to give you his 120% every night on both ends of the court. Someone else who also embodied 120% last season was Devin Brooks. Let me know if you're liking the nicknames. Anyways, Brooks was probably the main reason why Phoenix had as good of a regular season showcase as it did, as he was the ringleader. He scored a career-high 20 points per game last season, albeit on low efficiency, while being the main guy on some nights on top of the same defensive contribution he's been known for his entire career. We would then slap on 2 more high-energy defenders like Goodwin, who also shot league average, and Haywood Highsmith, who's another under-the-radar 3-and-D piece, on top of another guard and 4 like Jamari Bouye, who they extended during last regular season, and CJ Huntley. You complete the Phoenix Suns roster. For the lineups I expect them to run, I obviously want to make sure that Booker plays as many minutes at the shooting guard as humanly possible. The main lineup I have for Phoenix is Gillespie, Booker, Brooks, Bridges, Mark, with this lineup not only being the best in terms of talent times fit, but also in terms of a lineup that can still maintain the identity of the Suns last season while still having a positive net rating. My main bench is Kennard, Green, Goodwin, Dunn, and Godaro, but I can easily see and want to see Malowick in that spot. They can also swap some of the guys on the bench for players like Bouye, Highsmith, and Fleming. And at this point, I hope you understand that Phoenix still has a deep roster, even if they don't have as many notable names as the other all-in rosters in the NBA. This isn't a masterclass of an offseason, nothing close to it, but Phoenix has drafted solidly while picking up a 2027 first-rounder for next season, and also while establishing a more fitting identity with players that can execute that said identity while still making Devin Booker better. All they need is for him to be that guy who can be at the forefront of that identity to lead them back to the promised land. Does he have this insane core of shot creators who can allow him to take a huge step back in the offense? No. Does he have a roster who will die in the process of helping him win? Yes. Now let me get this straight with more rapid-fire questions. Do I think Devin Booker is a top 12 player in the NBA? No, but it's arguable. Do I think Devin Booker is good enough to lead and elevate this roster or any roster in the NBA to great heights? No. What separates him from the elites in the NBA? Do I even think the Phoenix Suns are good enough to maximize Devin Booker? Not exactly. Do I think Devin Booker is worth his contract? No, but it's his money and not mine. Do I think Devin Booker has no use on an NBA roster and should just retire? No. Do I think Devin Booker is ass? No. You probably just looked at the thumbnail of the video. Why'd you say he was ass if you don't even think so? Well,